begin with the white pieces on our rapid speed run against Gidmick, rated 1358. He responds to e4 with e5, and we'll go for a Ruy Lopez if he allows it. Your opponent doesn't have to, but he does. So we play bishop e5, pressuring the knight. He defends his center and opens a bishop. This allows us to castle. And now we can prepare for our piece development and middle game ideas, playing in the center. So he's thinking what to do. He breaks the pin. Fair enough. I mean, you have so many different options. Let's just go c3, keep it simple. He attacks the bishop. We'll retreat the bishop 1, see if he pushes. And if he does push, we can retreat in our little cubbyhole defending the center, so that now we're ready to play d4 next. And it's just a normal game, pretty simple. My 1358 rated opponent left the game. But his internet connection will come back now. See? It worked. That was good timing. Knight f6. Developing a piece. And that's all it's doing. Let's put 2 pawns in the center. Control everything. He does not capture. He develops a piece and prepares castling. Okay, let's improve our rook to the central file. He'll likely castle. And let's see what he does. He does castle. So, developing the bishop's a little weird because of there. Developing it here, you just get kicked. So let's bring in the knight. This is still defended. And we could maneuver the knight to f1 and g3. This might be the first time we've even done this maneuver in the Ruy Lopez. So we had to come across a 1358 rated player to finally see this maneuver. He moves the bishop and pins the knight. The knight is supported by another knight. However, it does attack our center. So let's put the question to the bishop. And although I was going to go knight f1 g3, if he takes, I can take back with the knight. So he keeps the pin. I don't want to go g4 because my king's there. So I think the plan knight f1 g3 hits the bishop. So it's one way, a different way to break a pin. It also puts the queen back on the center so nothing's hanging. I mean, he could go for our pawn structure. Do we care? So let's say we go knight f1. He takes our knight. We take with the queen, then we have stuff hanging. So maybe we intermezzo something in the center first. Like, we can kick the knight. It keeps the center closed, but I mean, he's the one that's cramped, not me. Also, if we take, he'll just take, and I don't see the point. Do we kick the bishop? He goes back. Then we kick the knight. Knight goes to the side. Then we kick this knight. Knight goes to the side. I mean, that's a lot of that's interesting space gain possibilities, but I'm not entirely sure about it. If I go here and he takes here, do I care about doubling? He lifts his queen to attack my pawn. King h2, knight h5, knight g3. Okay, I'll play a game where I double the pawns. I want to try that out. Since I'm new to the Ruy Lopez, I don't really know what you can and can't do, because I never looked at it. I never tried different things and then looked at the engine and see what you're supposed to do. So he takes the pawn. Is there a different move order we can throw in? This. Okay, let's just take back. Now he's going to take the knight maybe, but that gives up the bishop, the light square bishop. He doesn't take the knight. He moves the rook to pressure our center. Okay, but now we can go here and still double our pawns. If we go for like a defensive thing where we protect the pawn another time, it's possible, but we block our rook. I kind of want to try the double pawns, even though it might not be good. I'm curious. So, he doesn't do it. Man. Okay, so he keeps the tension for a lot longer than 1300 usually do. Attacks the center that I defended, but I could hop in here. Does break up my pawn duo if he takes, but it's an interesting, somewhat interesting. Otherwise, I can hunt the bishop, but then the knight's loose. He gets a pawn, I get a piece. Whatever he takes, I can take with check. That's interesting. I could just develop the bishop. When can we push? We don't really want to. Okay, let's transfer pieces over to more to the king side. If I can take this bishop for a knight, I will. He could try this sacrifice, this weird tactic that usually works for black. Maybe it works. I just feel like these two moves, one of them comes with check, and his hops don't hit my king. He can go somewhere to try to hit my queen, but I don't know. With very limited calculation, I'm not sure it works for him, so hopefully it doesn't. He does go for it. Let's take the bishop. Oh, and he just takes the knight. So don't we just get a piece by this? So our knight's pretty dominated here. Let's move it to the center. And now we're up his light square bishop for a pawn. Weird. Okay, so now we have our win condition. He kicks our knight out of the center. You could go to c5. It hangs on g5. And I don't want to go back to g3 because it's dominated. So I'm going to move forward to this square and allow further trade since I'm up a piece anyway. Also, it's an outpost, so he might feel like he has to take it at some point, but instead he attacks the pawn, supporting it, opening up his rook as well. Okay. But I have this knight here still. What happens if I hit his queen? If I improve it and hit his queen and defend the pawn. So it's a free move. My opponent left the game, but he's back. Now he's going to move his queen and attack my knight. Okay, as expected. Now what's the point? Well, if he moves his queen there, then he's susceptible to free development, bishop f4. He gets a knight, I get a queen. Okay. So for the moment I'm holding things tactically. So he moves the queen here, which threatens the center and the b pawn, but no longer pressures the knight. This fork doesn't work because of checks. Interesting. Weird position. kind of just want to go bishop b3 and let him take the pawn. I think I'm just going to do that. You can take this pawn. I don't want to waste turns defending it and stuff, or however you defend it. So he moves his rook to stop this fork idea, but the pawn's still hanging because it's hit twice. But I don't want to go pawn hunting unless I really don't have other stuff. But of course I have other stuff. If I hit this queen, where's it going? It's a good question. Where is it going? Here? A5? We have rook c1. But I want to throw in the move that puts his queen off of our center, so when we hit his knight, he can't just take without hanging a piece, because the queen's not supporting it now. So now if we hit the knight, he can't take the pawn, he has to go somewhere else. That's why I threw this in. His queen has this only square. This doesn't win the queen. We could take the pawn, we can go rook c1. We can also run out of time if we keep looking at options. So this is a pin, and it looks at the king with discoveries. So let's start with this one. It looks stronger. It looks even more forcing than rook c1. Okay, he moves the knight, sacks the rook. I don't have a double check to exploit. I guess I'll just take the rook, keep it easy. And now the queen is almost trapped, but since my bishop's not on b3, it's just a queen trade at this point. So for example, when I take this pawn and hit the queen, it would have been trapped with my bishop, but now he gets the queen trade, which I want since I'm up 6 points of material. So I didn't even look at other moves. Oh, he sacks his queen. He thought it was trapped, but that was just a trade, wasn't it? Yeah, poor guy. He didn't really he thought it was trapped for good. And then he resigns. Okay. So let's go through the game. We try to get a Ruy Lopez, which we do. King safety and development. This is development and preparing central break, center. Force move. Force move. Center. Center and development. Center and development. Development and center. Improving move for free. So you can just play d5 here and close things down. I mean, obviously you're better, but I thought playing the close position would be anti-Ruy Lopez speedrun-ish. Because I feel like you want me to play like Ruy Lopez. And the second I do stuff like this, you kind of go into closed pawn territory. So I just moved the knight, trying to keep it in, thematic. He takes. Oh wait, so, oh yeah. This was the point when I was wondering, you know what? Let me try to double my pawns. You could throw this in so that you don't have to double your pawns, because once the knight moves, you're not hanging the center. So I specifically tried this on purpose. Now, should he take? It says he should take. Yeah, which of course I thought he should. And now you could take with the queen even, which is a little weird, but g takes is the best. Okay, so I was curious. So this is totally playable because you have the knight coming here, and if the pawn recaptures, you reconnect your pawns, no biggie. That's what I figured. Normally the knight's not on f1 when you do this, so you just weaken your king side. But with your knight already here, it's ready to cover. Now how does the queen take work though? Wait, so he takes here, we take with the queen, he's going to take here. So we don't recapture and gives his knight the center. We go here, let him take back with, let's say, the pawn. Yeah, I don't really like this at all. Definitely g takes. Weird. So, okay, good to know for all the future games. And you can also play g4, and I want to know this for future games. So even though the center's fluid, we can still do this because we can follow it up with closing the center, kicking his knight around. This is what I was looking at. So we don't want to kick the knight, create a weakness, and give it a square. We just leave the structure as is. We have ultimate space gain. Interesting. So that's cool. That's what I was looking at. But instead we did knight to f1. He takes the pawn. Force move. And now the natural follow-up, hitting the bishop. And I think at this point he should have taken, at the very least, to make us do that with our pawns. But he retreats, and the engine says we're plus 1.3 here, or 1.2. So, I mean, black is solid enough. We're not just completely going to crush him. It's easy to make a mistake here as white. It's easy to push the wrong pawn at the wrong time. And then black is totally equal again. So, don't read too much into it, but you'd much rather be white here. So this was an interesting move. What options are here? So bishop d2, which is odd, but it's the best move. d5, which I figure his knight just hops into the center. So how's that work? Why would you do that? I don't see why you would purposely do that unless you're going to retreat and play for some weird f4, but that looks a little sus. So the other move, the third move they like, which is tied for the first two, so it's also the best move, I guess, is the one I played. I like this one the most. It makes the most sense to me. Just hunting his bishop and seeing if he goes for this tactic, which I thought didn't work. But he takes it, and it goes from plus 1, white's better, to plus 3.5. White's losing, and white's winning. Only black's actually better if we don't take the bishop. Any other move, black's better. We take the bishop, and I thought he was going to try to continue the chain by taking pieces, but he immediately took back the knight, which didn't make any sense because you just lose a piece like without any complicated tactic. Like, it was much easier to just see you lose a piece. We're plus 4. He hits the knight. Wait a second. Oh, because you have the rook check intermezzo. Okay, you can go to g5. At first sight, I thought you couldn't, but of course you can. So we go to c5, perfectly great outpost. It's plus 4. We try this cheeky move, which could land you in trouble if you don't play super accurate. Well, you don't have to play super. It could land you in trouble in the sense that you're trying to be fancy. And if he puts pressure on the knight and you don't have like a good follow-up, what are you doing? So he goes to this square, and this allows free development, forcing the queen. You'd think back to keep his position intact, but he goes forward trying to be aggressive. And although this might look a little scary, you know, to a new player, you may think like, oh, my center's collapsing, I'm in a pin. There's pressure here by 2 pieces, the pawn. It's actually plus 5. So you're so winning here that you want to figure out why you might feel like you're even in trouble in a sense. But you're obviously not. He's hanging everything. You're fully coordinated. All he can ever do is win a pawn, maybe 2 at best, if you just do nothing. And you're already up a piece, so. In any case, what's the best move here? Knight takes c7 or bishop b3. So what was I thinking? On knight takes c7, I thought it would just be mass trades. Takes, 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 rook somewhere. Yeah, so I went with bishop b3, which I'm glad the engine likes, because it was a weird move. It blocks the attack here, but lines up beautifully. Gives up the pawn. His best move is to move the king out of the way. But that's a hard move to make when everything is hanging for both sides in the position. He goes defensive, which can never be the right thing to do. And we find the best move, a3, deflecting the queen. They want him to sack it for the rook just to end his misery, but he goes back to a5, which is normal. Find the best move, bishop takes. He retreats the knight. Free stuff. Free stuff. And it says the best move is still just to give up the queen. But you can go queen a4. b3. Queen takes d4. So it is trapped. So even here with the queen trade, I just have to not do the queen trade and go b3. The thing is trapped. So he does have to give it up because this is covered. But you can take a rook instead of a bishop. So take the rook. That's funny. It's still trapped. I didn't even look further because you're up 6 points. Who cares? But yeah, it's still trapped. So he hangs the queen and the game is over. That was fun. 2 inaccuracies, 97%. Solid Ruy Lopez game. I tried to show you guys some themes. Hope you enjoyed it.